Hi everyone and welcome to level C1, lesson 1. First of all, congratulations on reaching out to this level. If you started, from scratch, from level A1 or A2, congratulations. And also for those who made their placement test and the results showed as level C1, you're doing a very good job. And this is your first step into, enhancing your English. So let's begin first with the program and the study plan that we are going to follow throughout the level. So we are studying, or the book that I'm using is Voices by National Geographic. It's a very, I'd say, good book, and it's really rich with a lot of, advanced vocabulary. And also the topics are really interesting. So you're gonna enjoy, the topics, the knowledge that you'll gain from the topics as well, and also the movies and the series that you guys are going to watch, that is, related to level C1. You're gonna enjoy it, I promise. So beginning with the content that we have. We've got 10 units. Each unit has 5 different topics. So the total of the topics that you guys are going to learn throughout level C1, they're basically 50 different topic. So moving to the study plan that you are going to choose, we have 2 different study plans. The first one is the intensive study plan, and I'm pretty sure that you guys are familiar with it if you attended, the previous levels with me. If not, let me explain to you what is the intensive plan. The intensive plan is basically studying 2 topics per day. So you're going to finish the whole level within, a month. If you studied 2 topics, if you practiced, speaking with those 2 topics per day, then you're going to finish the whole level in a let's say 3 to 4 weeks. Um, that's regarding the topics and the units that we have. That's the content that you guys are going to learn. Um, Regarding the book itself, it's very organized, I would say, for those who don't know the book. The first unit says the title of it is Encounters. So those are the goals. You always study the goals, guys. Always read the goals before you start the unit. And that's the first thing you do. And then you move forward to the video that you after answering the first question, of course, because you go from like the very beginning, exercise number 1, number 2, 3, you know, um, you go in order. Um, Every each exercise would be having like 1 question or 2 questions in it. So the first exercise, it has 2 questions. I would like you guys to answer those 2 questions and then move forward to the video, which we're going to watch it together right now. Let's begin. Those are the audio files. By the way, those are the audio files that you guys are going to receive with the curriculum or the material. Each file is basically numbered from 1.0 until, the end, 10.6. Those are the units, Unit 1, Track 0, Unit 1.1, 1.2, and so on. Okay, I basically sorted them in orders so that you guys, I don't want you to feel, confused. So those are the audio tracks. Regarding the video, it's the same thing. I added them in orders as well. So let's begin with 1.1. And let's see. Encounters, Unit 1.
First impressions are important, but they aren't always accurate. I remember meeting my primary advisor for the first time when I was a graduate student doing a PhD in marine biology. My first impression was that he was rude and enjoyed making students feel stupid. I was so turned off by this first impression that it made me on multiple occasions rethink my decision to enter into this graduate program. Was this a big mistake? Fortunately, as time went on and I got to know him better, I realized that I had misinterpreted his intentions altogether. He wanted me to succeed as a scientist, and he knew that this would require a lot of careful attention and critical feedback on his part. He knew that for me to reach my goals, I needed someone who was willing to take the time to think deeply about my ideas, the good parts and the parts that lacked clear logical motivation.
I hope you guys not face, the same difficulty that I'm currently facing with his voice because the voice is not that clear, I would say. But yeah, you guys can share with me if you had any issue, listening to the video. Let's continue.
Ironically, I ended up truly valuing even the harshest of criticisms from my advisor, and a big part of this came from my understanding that his feedback came from a place of love. Having said that, sometimes our first impressions of someone can turn out to be accurate too. As an early college student, I met a professor who I thought was as magnetic as he was inspiring.
I would also like you guys to share with me if your first impressions are always accurate, like when you see someone new, let's say, and you deal with them, are your impressions accurate, like the first impressions that you get out of this, meeting with this new person, or you don't always get it right?
He was the first marine biologist I met in real life, and his world seemed fantastical. He would travel to remote corners of the planet to study how nature worked, to help humankind implement more effective conservation measures. He seemed so incredibly dedicated to his work, and also, luckily for me, dedicated to mentoring the next generation of scientists. He became one of my core mentors while I was an undergraduate student, and as I got to know him better, his influence on me only grew. It was his enthusiasm and genuine love for the process of scientific discovery that was a major motivator for me to pursue a similar career path.
All right, very good. So, after you guys watched the video, of course, you answer the questions. And here, the first question says, what was Mike's first impression of his PhD advisor, and how was it inaccurate? Okay, so obviously this guy got the first impression in like it was inaccurate. Question number 2 says, what was Mike's first impression of his college professor? What influence did the professor come to have on him? So share with me your answers, guys, of course, in a voice note, for for me to evaluate your speaking when it comes to the first activity that would require you guys to practice speaking. Now, question number 3 in here, or exercise number 3, make connections, discuss these questions. I'd like you also, after reading these questions, I'd like you to share with me your answers. So the first question says, have you ever formed a first impression that turned out to be accurate, and what happened? Well, I'm pretty sure that you guys do not get like all your first impressions to get to be that accurate. So share with me these situations. Number 2 says, have you ever formed a first impression that turned out to be wrong? What happened? After you answer those 2 questions in here, then we're pretty over and done with the first introduction page. Now moving to our very first lesson in level C1, under the name of first impressions. You always check these lesson goals in here. Hold on a second. The lesson goals are basically what determines, or what actually what you need to focus on for you to understand if you're capable of speaking about this topic or not. So the first goal in here, use a dictionary to understand and extract from a novel, which basically this one in here. After you guys read it, you're going to extract the new vocabulary, yeah, and you're going to memorize it. And we are going to implement this on every and each reading article or passage or essay, we are going to extract all the new vocab, memorize them, and then move forward. So, yeah, goal number two, analyze characters in a novel. Talk about a first encounter. Okay. So, this is basically the same thing. The reading passage, after you read, okay, you go and answer all the questions in it, like from exercise 1 until exercise number 6. All right. So basically, this is where you start after attending the explanation of the whole topic. You answer all the questions from exercise number 1 to exercise number 6. And here is the PDF that you will also receive for every and each topic, which basically gives you a better way of explanation, highlights, the essential or important vocabulary, such as this one here, okay? And also gives you what to focus regarding the language of the lesson. So in the language focus part, you're going to focus on adjectives for describing characters. In here, there's the speaking practice, which is really important, guys, for you to answer these questions and share with me your answers in a voice note, just for me to make sure that you can speak about that topic and give you a proper feedback. So let's begin first. Oh, yes, there's the writing part, which helps you, to practice writing using the new vocabulary as well. In here, you're going to write a short paragraph, 3 to 4 sentences, approximately 50 words, describing a person and the first impression they make. Use at least 2 vocabulary words from section 1, which what we are going to go to as a start. So the lesson under the name of First Impressions, this lesson focuses on reading comprehension, vocabulary related to character description, and using adjectives to discuss people's personalities and initial reactions. Let's begin with, I also gave you, the English word, the Arabic translation of it, an example, and also the translation of that example in Arabic, just in case, you found out like a new word, for you to find the meaning of it immediately. The first one says elderly. Matthew Cuthbert is an elderly, shy man. Shy. She was too shy to speak in front of the class. Firm. Marilla takes a firm hand in raising Anne. Okay. I think if you haven't watched Anne with an E, I would like you guys to go and watch the series now, because this one is really interesting. You're gonna love it, and also the vocabulary in this series, I would say, Anne uses some rich vocab or advanced vocabulary that will help you also enhance your language. Moving forward to surprised, I think this one is pretty easy. He was surprised to find a girl instead of a boy. Responsible, optimistic. Despite the challenge, Anne remains optimistic. So I'd like to ask you a question here. Do you guys remain optimistic through, hard challenges that you go through, or you get to turn pessimistic, which is the opposite of optimistic? Okay. Optimistic is someone who is, very positive about life. And the opposite of it is pessimistic, which is a person who is not so positive, is kind of negative about life. Dreadful, peculiar. She had a peculiar way of speaking. Okay. Very strange way of speaking. Vivid. Anne has a very vivid imagination, and that is true. I think I also have a vivid imagination. And I don't know about you guys, but I would like you to share with me in case you have vivid imagination or not. That'd be really interesting, to get to know you more. and to also practice writing or speaking. Confident, and here we move to the opposite or the antonym of some of the words. Confident, the opposite is shy. She's confident about her performance. Maybe we can use another example. I'm confident in speaking um, English, or maybe I'm too shy to speak. And if you consider yourself someone who's too shy to speak, um, try to let's say practice speaking with yourself first about multiple different topics, and then go out there and speak with other people, and do not be afraid of making mistakes, because that would prevent you from practicing speaking. So try your best to practice speaking with yourself first, and then be open to have a conversation with other people. The next one, optimistic, gloomy, the opposite of it. And also a synonym for gloomy is pessimistic or depressed, or someone who's depressive. Responsible, careless. You must be responsible for your own actions. Quick, slow, this one is easy. Firm and gentle. Her tone was firm, showing she was serious. And now moving to the next part, how to use these adjectives. So in here, before a noun, we add an adjective. So Anne is an imaginative girl. Okay. So she imagines a lot. And after the verb to be, we add a subject, then verb to be, and then the adjective, such as Matthew is shy. I am confident, for example. I am gentle. I am firm, and so on. She is gentle. She is, or they are optimistic about their new project, for example. This is how you basically use an adjective, in different situations. One, we add an adjective before the noun, and is an imaginative girl. And one, we use the adjective at the end after verb to be, am, is, or are. Now, the speaking practice, which is the this is the most important part that I want you guys to focus on. Answer all these questions. I think there are four, three. Okay. Answer the three questions and send me voice notes with your answers. The first question says, what was the first impression you had on Anne Shirley? If you watched the series, you'd understand, you'd make a first impression. But let me ask you, what was the first impression you had on, or you had of your best friend, let's say? Okay. Tell me about this in the speaking voice note if you haven't watched Anne with an E, the series. Now, number two says, describe a person. Describe a person you met recently. What single adjective best describes or summarizes their character? I met my new colleague. She seemed quiet at first, but she's very diligent or diligent. Okay, just to make sure that you guys pronounce this in American, you say diligent, and also in British. Australian people sometimes use the G as ga, which is, and Irish people as well. But I would like you to say diligent. Okay. So I met my new colleague. She seemed quiet at first, but she is very diligent. Okay, or diligent. Very good. Number three, how important are first impressions in your culture and in your daily life? That is a very long answer that I would like you guys to make, up to 2 minutes speaking with your voice note. Now, in my culture, they are very important as respect is shown immediately. In my daily life, I try to be observant and not judge too quickly. And I think if I'm going to answer that question myself, I am an observant person. I do not judge immediately on people. I give them a chance to speak, to show me their personality, and then I give After multiple incidents, then I make a judgment on that person. I say, now I know this person, and I can say that this person is, let's say, optimistic, pessimistic, whatever. So do not judge people, from the very first meeting. No, try to be more observant and try to give yourself and give them time to, for them to know you and for you to know them better. Now, in the last part, this is the assignment. I'd like you guys to make write a short paragraph, 3 to 4 sentences. As I said, approximately 50 words describing a person. Um, Real or fictional, it doesn't matter. And the first impression they make, or the first impression you make, use at least 2 vocabulary words from section 1. Well, actually, I'd like you to use more, not only 2 words. Now, I gave you a sample answer in here. The woman at the station looked elderly and firm. Her clothes were neat and practical, suggesting she was responsible and orderly. She she barely smiled, which made her seem rather shy or reserved. My first impression was that she would be difficult to please, difficult to make her happy, let's say. Um, yeah, and this is basically the translation. And the last part, which shows you what you guys have learned after attending, the lesson. Vocabulary, understand and correctly use 10 key English words related to character and personality. Now you can describe people's personality and character in a more, let's say, advanced way, using advanced vocabulary. And the grammar, identify and use descriptive adjectives to create clear, detailed descriptions of people. Well, basically, using descriptive adjectives is really important when it comes to, describing someone's personality or character. And the speaking part, of course, you guys learned how to describe other people's personality and their, character from the very first time you meet them, but not giving, a full judgment on that person. And yeah, after you guys finish this PDF, after studying that part, you go to the book and you answer the questions starting from the introduction page until, exercise number 6, and also read the article. And that's it for today's lesson. I hope it was easy. And just to show you guys that today you've learned many different vocabulary words. You've learned how to describe the people in, a more advanced way. And you also learned how not to make judgment and to be more observant when you deal with new people coming into your life. So after you answer all the questions, you give yourself, let's say, a mark, or you check that you can speak with these topics. It's not hard for you to speak with these topics. And regarding that topic, you're here finished. You finished first impressions, the 1A lesson, our very first lesson, and you made sure that you can speak about this topic. Then you can move to the upcoming lesson. So yeah, thank you so much for attending the lesson, and I'll see you guys, inshallah, in lesson number 2, level C1. Take care.